riding in the bike in the desert of Morocco. I rode a camel. I posted a video because I started boo-hooing on the camel. I was like, these are the whispered prayers I was asking for.
Yes,
I know the camel.
yes,
I've gone
yes.
up in a hot air balloon and watched the sunrise. I've been out on boats, whale watching. I hiked to the top of a glacier. I was literally standing on a glacier. And if that was not
Wow,
close to God, I don't know what was. That was amazing.
wow.
Volcano, like all of this stuff, like you realize there's so much more world than what's here.
Yes.
And if you allow yourself, now let me footnote this. I don't love cold, but the way I was up on that glacier practically licking it, I'm going.
All right, we're back on Elevate the Good. We're doing something different this time. We're going to be doing what I like to call untethered life. This is an impetus from my own personal, let me get my hair right. My own little personal, I know it's all crooked, but anyway, my
I
own
got mine right. I
personal,
shaved it
I know it's
off.
still wet from the shower, whatever. But
Yeah.
anyway, my own personal inner retreat journey and my solo travels. And I met a lot of women who have literally never, ever, ever, ever traveled alone. Let alone outside the country or whatever, but literally even gone to a restaurant alone. So, which is like clutch my pearls because I do a lot of stuff by myself. So I decided to do this new segment called Untethered Life or Authentic Wholeness, based around solo travel, travel abroad, even staycations, but doing inner retreats, ways that you can come back to yourself. Because I know a lot of things came in for me through my travels. Even before my pilgrimage, I did travel alone a lot. However, traveling by yourself, spending time with yourself, you do discover a lot about yourself in
Yeah.
those quiet times and in those moments where you don't have all these external voices and opinions and
Right.
motivations around you. So you being the queen of travel and the queen of self-expression, authentic self-expression, the queen of and taking a leap on your inspired action, you are the perfect person for this. And as we ended the previous segment, you were going to Denmark and Finland, but you actually just got back from Spain as well. So,
I went to Iceland. It was Iceland. I went to
oh,
Iceland,
Iceland. There we go. Okay, there we go.
Iceland, Finland, and Estonia by myself. So
Oh,
people always ask me a couple of things like, and I know you hear this too. Aren't you afraid to travel alone? I was born alone. So
what about
no.
that? What about
So
that?
no. But also, my simplest explanation is this. When I'm here, I'm plugged in. I'm somebody's mama because I got 5 sons. I'm somebody's teacher. I'm somebody's friend. I'm somebody's partner. I'm somebody's something. But when I travel, I get to be all of me fully to myself.
Right.
And when you talk about recovery, I try to get people to understand that moving and being and traveling alone doesn't mean lonely. It just means alone. And
Exactly.
alone with yourself. And so many people are uncomfortable being alone with themselves because you're
Right.
forced to hold that mirror up and look at all the good, the naughty. You got to look at all of you when you're sitting with yourself. Like you said, whether it's a staycation, an awaycation out the country. I eat alone a lot. I love my own company. Let me just say that, you
So,
know, and love, and people are like, well, why do you listen? My phrase for myself, and I have girlfriends who've adopted, I give me what I want because I love her. and
look,
do and right
look,
now that's
look.
travel.
You need to-
There it is. I give me what I want because I love her. And for right now, that's
Yeah.
travel and exploring. Like, Facebook gives you those memories. Like, girl, one of my memories from about 7 or 8 years ago, I actually wrote, I am a world citizen, even if only in my mind for right now. And
I
here I
remember that.
am a few years later. I've been to 12 countries in the last year and a half. I've been to 7 alone
Wow.
this year, and I'm not done. I'm not done. But I've been to 7 countries alone this year.
Wow.
6 of those by myself. The Spain trip was a sibling trip, which was great. I had to
Oh,
adjust with
yes.
traveling with other people. And I was just like, Is this what people do? Because you gotta consider somebody else. When it's me, it's like I'm going to get on
That
this camel. I'm about to take this sailing cruise at night. I can do whatever I want to do, eat what I want to do, nap, move. But I found it's imperative to my well-being to go and totally be around strangers in a strange country. But I've never met a stranger. Is while I'm moving around, people conspire to be like, oh, what do you need? And how can I help you? And oh, you're from here. Da, 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 da. And so I end up making friends all over the world. If I was sitting here in my house, they might knock on my door, but they might not. But I know if I'm out in the world, it's guaranteed you're going to meet somebody and do something different and have some new food and breathe some new air. One of the things I've also found is when I travel, day 2, for about 15 good minutes, I get sad. I'm like, oh, somebody should be here to share this with me. 15 minutes later, I'm like, well, let's go do the activity.
It's like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And then you get over it. You get over it.
You get over it. And yeah, it would be great to share, but it's like, well, still going to do the things. I'm going to sleep to sleep, do the things, and go to wherever I'm going. And to also book all my own stuff. So people are like, well, I don't know. I'm going to go with a tour because I'm scared. I book my flight. I book my accommodations. I book my excursions. I book everything I want to do. And it comes out less expensive that way. But I also get everything I wanted. And I stay, I won't say I stay luxury, and I don't say the cheapest. I'm somewhere like in the mid-range. Like, I'm gonna need my sheets not to have bed bugs.
What about that? So let's kind of touch on that. What are your favorite sites, traveling apps, just to book your flights, to find accommodations, local transportation?
If it's less than a 2-hour flight, I'll go cheap. I'll go Spirit. I don't do Frontier. Spirit, because you can carry that backpack. If I'm going for 5 days or less, it's me in a backpack. I don't need to check luggage. I can roll and make everything I need in there go. I make sure I got good underwear. Anything else I need, I can buy. Right. If it's more than 2 hours or a certain level of international, Icelandic Air, I'll talk about them in a minute. Air France, Air Canada, Air Qatar, whatever country you're going to, you're going to get the best service if you're flying their airline into the country. Makes sense. I love to use the different international airlines. Now, one of the things I found out in going to Iceland through another friend that put me on, there are about 20 international airlines that do what's called flyovers. So the reason I ended up in 3 countries is I was going to Finland. My friend said, if you fly Icelandic Air, they will drop you coming or going in Iceland for up to 7 days for free. So if you find those airlines that do flyovers, they'll drop you in their country typically for up to 7 days. It doesn't cost any more than the ticket you already bought. And then I just caught a 2-hour cruise across the water to Estonia. Right. And so I got 3 countries with the cost for one trip.
Wow.
But there's about 20 airlines. That's the first time I did it, and I was like, I'm never gonna not do this ever again. So I found all the flyover airlines. There's about 20 of them. And then once I get my flight booked, then I start looking at my accommodations. The favorite places, I know people love Airbnb, but booking.com is top shelf when it comes to booking where you're staying. One, I always pick the ones that you pay when you get there and the ones you have free cancellation up to 24 hours. So if I find somewhere different I can cancel without penalty. And if I'm unsure of like the money situation, I'll pay when I get there at the hotel to make sure it's what I want. Because if it's not, I don't have to pay and I can go get somewhere else to stay. That's never happened. I've had such good karma with the places I've stayed. I also use booking.com. What's the other site I use to book my excursions? So I go on, I find what I want to do. I plug in my days where I'm going to be. And then I start looking at what I want to do. I never book more than 1 excursion a day. I either book one all-day excursion, or if it's hot, I'll book something in the morning. Or if I'm arriving late morning, I'll book one thing in the evening. Because I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to have to go. Because when I travel, I sleep the sleep. When I tell you, baby, I sleep the sleep. And so when I get, it's either that morning or that night, but I'm not trying to book things so I see the country during the daytime and see the country at night. Like one of the best things I did in Portugal was this night cruise where I'm on this sailboat for 3 or 4 hours with cheese and
Wow.
wine and strangers and watching the sun go down and the bridge.
Nice.
My hotel I booked in Lisbon was basically the Urban Hang Suite, and I'm gonna stay there again. I could see all of
What?
Lisbon from the top, and it was so dirt cheap. It was like the cost of a cheap hotel here, but it was luxury. I was on the 5th floor with a full view of Lisbon.
Wow. See,
I was just like, girl. So I'm gonna stay there again when I go back because I loved Portugal.
okay.
It's my favorite country. I may move
A
there.
lot of
I'm,
expats, a lot of melanated expats are in Portugal, making plans
yeah,
for Portugal. A
yeah.
lot of my friends are moving to Portugal. Yes.
Yeah, I have friends there. I moved around. I saw Porto, Coimbra, Lisbon, Cascais, Central. I was all over. Like Josephine was in France. I was in Portugal. um, and I tried to see as much of the country as possible. Like when I went to Colombia, I was in Cartagena. I went to the islands. I went to Palenque, Barranquilla. I didn't go to Medellin, but when I go
Okay,
next
I was
time, I'll
about to
go
ask
there.
that. Yeah. Okay.
I did make it to Medellin that time. And right now, there are countries I'll circle back around to, but right now I'm just hitting all new countries. New, 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 new. So I have my
Nice,
hit list. And then
nice.
on top of that, all 5 of my sons, plus my bonus son, have their passport. I'm taking all of them out the country in October. I'm not
Excellent.
raising local citizens, I'm raising global ones.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, my granny gave me a glimpse when I was starting at 7, 8, 9 years old. So I understand the importance of giving others a glimpse. So just so they know they're aware and that there is something beyond their scope and availability that they actually have access to, and then they can be expanded in their other types of people, cultures, behaviors, mindsets, beliefs, all of that, and just even
It
atmosphere and
changes.
cultures, and to appreciate it. You know, it doesn't have to be what you're used to. That's the beauty of it. That's why I like you were saying, when you leave, there are no strangers. I've never met a stranger. Even when I'm at
Ever.
home, I don't meet strangers. People, it's
Yes.
just the energy. It's like we've been talking for a long time. When I get to another country, it's the same thing. And I'm like, oh, I had a plan to do this today. What are you doing? Oh, you want me to come? Okay, I'm with you. And it just changes the whole day. And it just, you learn so much about yourself, let alone connecting with another soul.
And it forces you to reevaluate your beliefs of what you're strong in. I'm not so hunkered down in any belief that it can't be shifted. And what I mean by that is,
Right.
I may believe one thing, I get new information, I may adjust my belief or I may change it based on new information coming in.
Right.
You just don't know. Um,
Exactly.
what you don't know until you don't know what you don't know until you know.
Right. And it's a
One
lot
of the
we
things
do
I
not
always do
know.
every so people always ask me, what do you do when you go to your cities? There's 3 things I do. I always eat the local food and drink the
Yes.
local drink. I'm
Yes.
always do that. I go to every botanical garden and every art museum in every major city I go to. I love, I'm an artist, so
Right.
it just fills me. I feel like I get to know not only the people that are there now, but everybody that was there before the people that were there. I bought some books in Spain. I got like this little Basquiat isms. He's one of my favorites. I got like this one, Reframing the Black Figure.
Nice.
Actually, some of my friends are in this book. I was like, look at Amy Sherald and
Nice.
Bahamu. And then this was actually, I went home to Durham and the museum I went to gifted people this book. And a couple of people I
Southern.
know are in here. And I was like, what? And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I taught Bahamu's kids. And da-da-da. They were like, what? They were like, and so I
Wow.
ended up talking. They were like, are you coming back? Never met strangers. So, I
That's
pick
right.
up books. I'm not a shopper. I am not a shopper. So when I travel too, I have this jacket. I put patches on. Matter of fact, hold on, I'm gonna grab it. Hold on.
Okay.
I should have grabbed it.
You see why I have her on the show, you guys, right? Ladies, all you people, like, this is one of my favorite human beings on the planet. She definitely is all about this life.
So I'm a minimalist. So I don't buy stuff. So this
Right.
is my travel jacket that
Right.
I
Right.
have. And these are the patches I still need to put on it.
Yay!
Right
Oh, I
here, like I got
love
on
it.
it.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
goodness.
like a deck of cards, like Estonia,
Wow.
Portugal. What's this one? Um, I've been to Finland, Vatican City, which I've been to a couple of times. I just didn't have one. Spain, Iceland, and South Korea. Like these are the ones I need to have.
Wow. You're gonna need a bigger jacket.
No, no, no. I might have to start overlapping them. And then even like locally, some places I want to go. Like I want to go to Sedona. I want to go to the Grand Canyon. I want to
Yes.
go up the California coast and see the redwoods. So
Yes.
now my siblings going with me on this last trip. They were like, "Oh my God, we see why you stay on." So they're booking trips now. My dad
Nice.
said, "What
See,
you?" My dad said, "What you doing to my children?"
love it. Gave them a glimpse.
Gave them a glimpse. You know, that little
Yes.
glimpse, that little glimmer forces you to move through the world differently. I've found
Yes.
that people who travel, even domestically, your perspective is different. You're not so closed-minded. You're not so closed off to new ideas and new places, and it whets your little energy to want more of it and to see more and to do more and honestly be more as a
Right.
human. You can't walk around and see human beings being and not want to honor that. It takes
Hmm.
away, it strips down the hatred and the disdain and the judgment people have of other people.
Absolutely. Because most of that is programmed, inherited, learned, misunderstood, misinformation, marketing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that, I see, especially, and it's not a judgment because I'm in the industry. That's why I could be suspicious in terms of production. Everything is entertainment, everything is
Yep.
entertainment
Yep.
and production. And so, I see how we are marketed to, and then there are people who literally going to buy into that this is the best country, we're doing the best, we're the best foods, we whatever, and then that just blocks out what is. There is no
And
best.
somebody told me if
Everything.
America believed so strongly in the health of its food, then healthcare would be free. But I like even perspectives on people. Like when I went to Morocco, which is a Muslim country, I, I dressed modestly. I didn't fully cover, but down to my knees. I was
Right.
appropriate. And some
You was
tourists were
hot.
like booty shorts, and there's nothing wrong with that. Dress how you dress. But if you're in a country, please study the culture and make sure you're not moving disrespectfully.
Right.
And so I watched how they were treated versus how I was treated. Because some of the tourists, you see them, they were being like, gawked at and stuff. And I was getting invited to tea daily. Like,
I
please
mean,
come
think
take
about
tea.
this. So, like, even I saw some articles, and they're not really articles, it was on the internets because I don't really do news, but I saw some young ladies and people from United States, like in Dubai, and they were arrested.
Yep.
Well, you probably should have researched and got some information on how they function and what works and what does not work. And I'm not judging again, like how they were dressed and why they were dressed the way they were and the behaviors. However, like you were
But you
saying, you
can't be
have
loud. There's noise ordinances. Even in Spain, noise ordinances. Don't have bullets in your luggage. Don't, and I hate it. Don't have a vape. Like it's certain things. Every country I go to, I look and see what's culturally appropriate and what the law is. If
exactly,
bare minimum, don't break the law. Bare
exactly.
minimum.
So,
But
right. So,
yeah.
with that being said, how do you go about researching outside of, in addition to, I guess, the government sites to check on like, travel safety and all those things? What is your process for researching culture, laws, what's appropriate, what's
Well,
not
first thing I
appropriate?
go to the government site, and then I go to the country site and look at what their laws are for the basic laws. But also, a lot of countries I go to, not even trying to, I know people all over the world. So, hey girl, hey, I'm coming to Portugal. What do I need to know? Bring good
Right.
walking shoes because your knees, you think they good, they not good till you hit these hills, right? Or you're coming to Morocco, make your excursions in the morning and respectfully at night. But even if you go out at night, no one's gonna bother you. You're gonna feel so. I walked around at night in Morocco, in Colombia, almost every country I was in, and I felt safer at night in other countries than I felt walking around in the daytime here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to put yourself in dangerous situations. Learn a little bit of the language, even if it's hello, how are you, water, toilet, thank you.
Right.
Basic, basic, basic. Because if you try a little, most people will meet you there and be like, okay, what do you need? Because
Yeah.
unlike us, most countries speak more than one language. And so they
Yeah.
they will help you if you are respectful. But if you go in there with this whole American, like, I'm American, tell me what to do, and you're supposed to help me, you're getting nothing. That just happened on my trip. Somebody felt entitled and was like, I was in several stores and I was going to buy something and nobody would help me. I said, well, how are you approaching them? He was like, well, I need help. Help me. And I was just like, did you say hello? Did you ask them how they were? You just rolled up like, give me my stuff, right? So
Right.
sense of
Right.
entitlement, you need to understand the culture. And like, for instance, in Spain, nothing happens midday. It's too hot. Everything happens in the morning. You eat a
Right.
leisure 3-4
Right.
hour lunch, siesta. Everybody comes
Siesta.
back out at night.
Right. Right.
Everybody comes back out at night. Night happens. Just understanding culturally how things are. You have to do your research, particularly if traveling alone. Where's your
Right.
embassy in that country? What do you need to do if something happens? How is their medical care? And I'll be honest, sometimes I get to travel insurance, sometimes I don't. It just, it
Okay.
depends.
Right. Right.
Um, if you're one of those people who tends to get lost or accident prone, or get the insurance.
Right. Right. Right.
But
Right.
I've
Right.
kind of been able to make my way. But you got to research the company, the countries. Don't just go thinking, oh, there's somebody here that's going to automatically pick you up and save you from
Right.
yourself. Check what you can have in your luggage, because some things here, like I know some Muslim countries, you can't have birth control. You cannot have like condoms and things like that. They're available to married people, but they're not available to you. So you think you're going to float through with your little bag.
Not so much.
No, you're not.
No.
And that's the other thing too. I get flirted with in country. I love to flirt. I have to unflirt myself from relationships. But be mindful how you move around as a woman with men or men with the women there. You have
Right.
to be mindful of what's allowed in terms of interaction. Like, I'm not allowed to be alone with a man that's not my husband in a Muslim country, but I can be in public taking tea as long as people can see you. But also, as a man, you can't just take that Muslim woman back somewhere. You
Right.
married now.
Right. Right.
Like,
Right. Right.
and I'm using it as an example and I'm being extreme, but you have to be mindful. Even like some of the Catholic countries, you're not allowed to just go up in their churches like, oh, it's a beautiful church, I'm gonna go in there with booty shorts and have my stuff out. Like, you have to be respectful. Of course, it's
Hmm.
not for you to agree or disagree. I'm not
Right.
any religion, but it's not for me to agree or disagree, but it's for me to be mindful and to respect belief systems in the places I go to.
Right.
And I think people get so arrogant in their own beliefs that they forget to respect how other people move and how they believe. Um, yeah. Also, I would say find out, medical facilities. Like most countries outside of America, you can just go into a pharmaceutical and get most of your basic medicines. Pink eye
Exactly.
medicine, whatever you need. You don't need a prescription for a lot of
Right.
medicines there. You just go get what you need and take care of it. They're like, oh, you have pink eye, why do you need a prescription? No, the stuff is right there, go get it off the
Right.
shelf.
Right. Right. Now, in
um,
terms of like vaccinations and that kind of thing, where are you personally on that? Obviously, you travel, so like you look it up
so
on
when
the government site. Go ahead.
I look at the government site, when I was in my 20s, I taught in Ghana, Senegal. I took mefloquine because it is considered, some of the areas I was in, the mosquitoes, you could get malaria. I actually got sent back because
Right.
they thought I had malaria. If you're
Okay.
going anywhere that's like rainforest, like I would say deep Costa Rica, some
Right.
parts of um, Indonesia, if there's a chance you could get some tropical disease, I would say get the vaccination for it and get it in enough time. Like yellow fever and stuff is still alive. If you think you're going to be in that kind of environment, I suggest you get the vaccine for it. Because we like to think, oh, I'm infallible. Some stuff, there's other ways, but stuff like that, we don't have the same immunity that the people of the area have. When I was in Ghana, they'd be like, "Oh, I have malaria." It's like a cold to them. Like, I got malaria, girl. It's a cold. But
Right,
if I got it, it's gonna
right,
affect me. Countries that you can get encephalitis, those type things. Get the vaccination. And I'm not hard, boom, 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 vaccinate, vaccinate. But you have to
right,
be mindful of how you're moving around. I haven't gone anywhere lately, but like next year, I have plans to go on safari, and some other places. I will probably look at the recommended and get the basics of what I need to keep safe so I come back and keep my brain intact.
right, right,
So
right,
I don't subscribe one way or another, but you just have to be aware of what the potential is if you make the choice not to get those safety precautions.
hmm,
If I was to go back to not, the city of Ghana, but the deep woods where I was teaching, I would take mefloquine or whatever the current prophylaxis is, because the chances of me getting malaria is greater than
right,
someone who doesn't live there. I don't have the same immunity. I got the same melanin, but I don't have the
right,
same immunity someone living there does.
right,
And for me,
right,
health is important. I gotta come back. So
right.
um,
Hello. Yeah.
see
Well,
what's
excellent.
recommended and see what you're comfortable with.
Right. And where do you go again? Just because this is, I want to be informative as well as
Mhm.
entertaining
Yeah,
to check out that information. I know where to go, but I want to like give the audience different perspectives on and
I go
information.
on, and I can't think of the site right now. There's a general a site that's a world global site that tells you um, which countries are in the red, yellow, or green. Green is travel safe. Yellow is it's relatively safe. Maybe somebody's got jacked or maybe murdered recently, so they put a
Right.
warning. Red countries, they're at war. You could be kidnapped. Don't go there. Like,
Right.
people
Right.
try it all
Right.
the time. And again, some of those countries, if you're from there, you can go. But if you're not, like, don't. I got friends from Nigeria. Be like, girl, don't go. I got my people to meet me at the airport, and I'm from there, right?
I
Or
hear that
or
a lot
certain
from my Nigerian folks who are from there, who have family there. They're like, yeah, but no, don't do that unless you go with me.
don't do it. Or certain parts of Haiti.
Right.
Like, I know you saw that couple that was kidnapped. Well, you all up in somewhere you weren't supposed to be. But I also have a girlfriend who went with her daughter, and she was very safe. So you just
Right.
have to
Right.
see what it's saying from time to time. Oh gosh. Also, CDC website has good stuff in
Hmm.
terms of health.
Right.
Why can't I think of the website? Um, I have to circle back around and tell you, but there's a basic site that tells you, what's a go, what's a not, what's a maybe. But you should check it out to see if it's okay to go.
Okay.
Also, something else I was going to say. America used to be the superpower, so it's like our passport was strong. Just like America's rejecting certain immigrants now, other countries are like, "Oh, you're American." Hmm. You get questioned more. They question your motives of coming and being there. And don't be so arrogant that you can't answer those questions, because
That
there are
part.
things going on here in politics that they should ask us those questions coming
Right.
into their country. Um, and I
And
just,
and
I
that's
jokingly,
why I'm sorry, let me interrupt real quick just to say that's another reason or a good reason to get a second passport if you can get dual
yep,
citizenship, especially now, to get dual citizenship so when you do travel abroad, you can use the other passport and you can move a
right.
little bit more fluidly. That's just,
Like
let me just put that
Portugal
in
is
there.
one of those countries that allow you to keep your U.S. citizenship and still have citizenship there. So
Exactly.
those are things I look at, countries that allow you to have and keep dual citizenship. Because I don't want
Exactly.
to relinquish my citizenship here, but I
No.
want
Right.
additional, and you still have to live there 5 years before you can even apply to take the test and all of that. Also, language barriers. Make sure, again, you learn enough of the language to be able to move through. Don't assume everyone who speaks English, because most are going to do it for you. You're not
Right.
owed that. And so I have
Exactly.
translators on my phone. I try a little
Exactly.
bit.
What are your
Um,
favorite translators on your phone
this one
app?
I ha- this one I have is like a universal translator, and what it does real time is you can type in what you want to say, and it'll say it out loud, or it'll type it, and you hit an exchange button, and it allows them to respond to you real time. They can just speak into it, and it translates as they're speaking. One of my favorite. I'm gonna send you all these apps
Yeah, and
afterwards because they're on
I'll
my
put
phone.
in And I'll put it in the description. And one of the things that I've noticed that's been happening here a lot in America is we have foreign workers here, and they may be at Target or whatever, you know, just working their regular job. And you're like, excuse me. And you ask them a question. They like, hold up. And they hold up their phone and they have an app and you're speaking and it's
Yeah,
automatically translating it for them. So just go to Google Play or whatever your favorite app store and you can just download any of those translators on the phone. And I just think it's more also a matter of respect
yeah.
for where you are to be able to communicate properly.
And again, if you try a little, most countries speak more languages than us. They will meet you there. Okay, maybe
Yeah.
not the French. The French doesn't like nobody that's not French,
There's
but
no
that's
like
okay.
nobody.
I understand that when I go to
The French are very French. They like, I
the
love it.
French
They
are
like,
very French. One of my other talking about apps, my other favorite app somebody put me on is called Ben, Been, and you can go in. It's a map, and so after you've gone to a country, you touch it and it lights it up on the map, so you get a visual image of everywhere in the world you've been.
oh,
And even if you
nice.
go to parts of a country, you can click on it, it'll drop down. You click the ones you've been to, but it counts. So you know that you need to circle back around and see other parts of that country.
Nice.
I
Nice.
love that app. Because I'm a visual
Nice.
person.
Right,
And it's
right,
called
right, right.
Ben. Yeah. I have a whole folder on my phone called Wanderlust. So that's where all my travel stuff goes. My airlines, my apps I use when I travel, my booking stuff, anytime I find something new. Um, there's another one I like, I think it's called Explore a City. So you plug in, I'm gonna be in this city for 1 day or 3 days or 5 days, and it
Okay,
loads all the stuff you can do in that city for those
perfect.
amount of days. Like and how you should break it down. It's pretty
Uh,
cool.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's some
somebody else
yeah, that's
gave
some
me
good
that.
information. That's some good information. Um, in terms of actual, like when you're getting your local transportation, what are your
Yeah.
preferred means of transportation, and then how do you usually go about, arranging it?
So I'm gonna start and tell you about how I got. And this is how I figured out transportation. So when I went to Colombia in Cartagena, I booked a local hotel. And so I get to the airport and I'm like, I catch a cab and I'm like, this is my shoma, this is my he's like, okay. He drove me around. And it was like the equivalent of like $20 or something like that. I was like, oh, that's not that bad because I'm still thinking American. Girl, when I figured out how much stuff costs, there's never a ride that costs the equivalent of $20 there. He done drove me around and then dropped me off. Do you know when I left Colombia, I walked 2 blocks over and a block down to the airport. I could walk to the so I got God, but it's okay.
You
And
got
so
that's
that
fine.
made
You
me
learn. It's a lesson learned.
you learn. So my preferred method when I first get there, I'll get like a cab or something dependable that I know will get me from my airport to my first accommodation. When I get to the accommodation, I look and I ask the best way to get around.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's Uber. A lot of countries have Uber. Some have this thing called Bolt,
Mhm.
BOLT, which is like
Yeah.
their Uber. But once I figure it out, I'm jumping on local trains, local buses. I'm
Yes.
walking. Like when
Yes.
I'm here, I might get in I'm not getting 5,000 steps a day because I'm lazy. When I'm traveling, 25,000 steps a day, baby. 25,000 steps a day. In other countries, they walk everywhere. I get my
Yes.
Google Maps. I have a physical map. I walk to almost everywhere. And if I have to, I'll get a bus. When I go between cities, like when I went from Porto to Coimbra, Coimbra to Lisbon, and Lisbon all the way back down to the airport, I caught a bus called Flixbus. From
Mm.
Porto to Coimbra was $3.99. It's like a cushy bus with Wi-Fi and charging. From Coimbra to Lisbon, it was $5.99. And then from Lisbon all the way back down the end of the country to Porto to drop me off in the airport, it was $18.
See.
So, local luxury buses, they have a Flixtrain that goes between cities. If you're in Europe, they have quick trains that go between like Paris and Milan or England. There's quick trains from country to
Right.
country,
Right.
literally.
Right. Right.
I've taken a ship across the English Channel, planes, trains,
Nice.
automobiles. And so I
All of
figure out what's most convenient to get me where I want to go. I took a ship from Finland to Estonia. It was like a cruise ship, 2 hours over, spent all day and a half in Estonia, cruise ship back. And I think it cost me $24.
Love it.
to see
Love
a
it.
whole country.
I mean, I can even do stuff right here in the city for $24. Like for real.
That's
Like for real, for real.
so that local transportation is, dope. And most people will tell you, oh, just jump on the jump on, jump off train. Like even when we were in Spain, we caught the local, it's a train that goes all around Barcelona and or
Hmm.
Madrid. And it just happened to be a holiday. They were like, oh, it's free today. You just jump on, jump off. I was like, what? Look at
See,
that. So
love it.
local transportation is good. Walking is good. If you're going major miles between cities, look up if there's a local, train or luxury bus because there are apps for that, and it's usually pretty cheap to move around the country. If you
Nice.
feel confident enough, now I've not felt confident enough. I don't drive in other countries. I
Oh,
know
really?
people who rent cars and they
I
they
do.
drive. I've met this couple. They drove all around Morocco. They rented a car. Maybe if I was with someone, I would feel comfortable driving a car. But
Right,
I haven't gotten to that level of comfort yet. Maybe eventually
right,
I
right,
will.
right.
You've done that?
Nice. Yeah, I love traveling. And when I meaning to drive when I get where I am. In most cases, I'm like you: trains, planes, automobiles, and lots of walking. However,
Yeah.
there's certain places I just want to try it and
Yeah.
drive, just to if you want to do a different type of exploration. But in general, yeah, I'd rather not have to deal with the car and all of that stuff. And it's so
And
funny you
gas and
say that.
parking.
Yeah, all of that because long story short, my car was totaled. And so since I've been on this retreat, inner retreat for the last year and a half, I haven't replaced my vehicle, right? And I'm back in my hometown. So it's a lot of like paradoxes that's going on, but for the better. It's been a
Yeah.
blessing. And I do a lot of walking, right? Which I did a lot of walking even in Atlanta. I did 5 miles
Yeah.
every day, like, but on the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
trails or Silver Comet or Stone Mountain, whatever. However, I'm doing a lot of walking and bike riding and people who I have grown up with or just in the neighborhood, like, oh my God, you walk so much. And I'm like, that's only a mile away, right? Like it
Right.
cracks me up
Right.
because I come
There's
from
people
that
back their car out
mindset.
to the mailbox. To the
Right. And it's
mailbox.
so funny because I can see how I was even raised that way. Like your car was not only just your identity, but it was a necessity. You're nothing without it. How do you get
Yeah.
around? Why would you walk? Like it's the opposite. And I'm thinking, but when I go out of the country, I'm not in a car. So, and for me, I like to think this has been my practice for all the traveling that have planned.
It
But I
is.
do, I walk so much, and I can't even tell you. First of all, I'm just grateful that I can walk. What about that?
That part. That part.
So I do walk and I can see so much more because now I'm not so distracted by having to pay attention to the road. I can see
Yeah.
other things and having conversation with
Yeah.
people I'm in passing and seeing nature and birds. And I've seen so much wildlife I literally have never seen my whole life. And I'm taking pictures and doing the little Google search thing and send it to with my bestie Sean because we love nature together. Like, what
My
in the
best
world?
friend's name is Sean too.
Yeah, I
My
know you
best
know
friend's name
Sean.
is Sean too.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. But you know my Sean too. But
I
yeah,
know your Sean
so
too. Yeah.
yeah, you know my Sean. So all that to say that it's like there's a whole nother world going on. And like I said the other day, I was walking. They were like, "Girl, you better get out of this sun." I was like, "Well, first of all, I'm melanin. I need the sun, and I'm walking. Where are you going? I'm going down to the park. Oh my God, wait!" And I was like, "That's like one
So
point
you just said a
two."
word with that because a lot of people don't know how to be outside. I
They
love
don't know how to
nature.
be outside and they don't know the walking thing. Like they think like I gotta go exercise. I'm not exercising. I'm
Oh,
going and walking. I'm just enjoying this. It's like
enjoying nature.
and it keeps me healthy, keeps my brain going, keeps my blood flowing. But I actually love enjoying it. And I'm like so glad because especially being in Atlanta, we spend so much time in the car. People don't understand. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and
That's why I
yeah.
love COVID quarantine because I had a lot more time to myself and in nature. Like I go to all the botanical gardens in every country I go to. I like being outside. I like being in nature, and I can't go with somebody that's like, "Oh, I want to be outside. It's hot. It's raining. It's whatever." I'm out there dancing in the rain. Like I'm about to get me a travel hula hoop because I've been hula
Girl,
hooping lately, and I was like, I need a
yes,
travel one to put in my
yes,
luggage, but being able to reconnect with nature and your higher self. We're the only ones who are like, I don't want to go outside nature. Nature might get on me. You're the same dirt and stardust as nature. Like, what are you saying?
You are nature.
Or
Like
like,
I went to the beach with someone. They're like, yeah, I really don't like the sand and stuff. And I'm thinking, why did you come? Like, that is the beach. Like, because people I was like, so we're at the beach. So what are we gonna do? We're doing it. This is it. We're
yeah,
beaching.
this is it. We about to go.
I was like, don't you see all of that water that seems endless? Like, this is God right here. How could you want anything?
How could you not? You know, the
I
other
mean,
thing too, when I travel, I love my activities. People are scared to do
me
so. Aren't
too.
you scared? I went quad riding in the desert of Morocco. I rode a camel. I posted a video because I started boo-hooing on the camel. I was like, these are the whispered prayers I was asking for.
Yes,
I know the camel.
yes,
I've gone
yes.
up in a hot air balloon and watched the sunrise. I've been out on boats, whale watching. I hiked to the top of a glacier. I was literally standing on a glacier. And if that was
Wow,
not close to God, I don't know what was. That was amazing.
wow.
Volcano, like all of this stuff, like you realize there's so much more world than what's here.
Yes.
And if you allow yourself, now let me footnote this. I don't love cold, but the way I was up on that glacier practically licking it, I'm going. I've skydived, I've zip lined. I I don't let fear stop me.
Right,
Um,
right.
and I tell people just because you see me walk through the wall of fear doesn't mean I'm not afraid. I don't let fear stop me. Fear will keep you doing the exact same things you do
I
until
love
you
it.
are back dust. And I refuse to go back to dust. If I was to go right now in this moment, I've lived a beautiful,
Yes,
bountiful life,
yes,
full of
yes.
abundance of things I've done that I wanted to do. Even this
Beautiful.
morning, I got up and made some homemade biscuits, some omelets. I made a little peach cobbler with peaches off my tree I grew. They're like the audacity of you to grow peaches in your yard. Yeah, I grew peaches. I made peach wine. I made peach cobbler. But my grandfather was a fruit farmer.
Oh,
And so that
nice.
being outside in the dirt and then to go to other countries where they just got lime trees and fruit growing along the street. So anybody can just pick the fruit if they need it. That
That's right.
cooperative economics, I'm like, man. Meanwhile, America would put wire barbed fences around the trees so people couldn't eat the fruit, you know. And
But
other things, I go to countries.
I remember in this town because are you there?
I'm
I
here.
know
I'm
it
here.
flashed out for a second. Um, I have been in Atlanta, well, for 30 plus years, right? And so being in my hometown, I don't know why I keep doing this, but hometown, I'm walking, like I said, I'm walking a lot and I'm on, in my mom's house. So I'm in the neighborhood that I grew up in. My mom's been in this house for 52 years. And I'm sitting there like, I remember there were apple trees and different fruit trees and berry bushes like just there.
Yeah.
And now that's the thing in America. They have taken away a lot of the fruiting trees. So that's why we have so much pollen, because we have all these male trees that are kicking off pollen, but there are no female trees to
To receive, yeah.
to receive it. And so people have all these allergies and whatnot. But it just dawned on me. Now, I knew statistically about the whole lack of fruiting trees, but to
Yeah.
see and have the evidence in my own life of like, what happened to all those trees? And I see the stumps of them.
Well, you
And
know what
I,
I talk about in terms of Black joy and revolution? My joy is revolutionary. It's resistance because I don't
yes,
have joy. Me growing fruit in my yard and I give it away, because there's abundance. That's revolution and resistance.
yeah,
That growing your own food, and that's why they're trying to make it illegal. Traveling around the world and seeing food ways and eating it, like my system works very well. My body's like input, output. I
yes,
eat, it does what it needs to do. Food here doesn't process like that. So if you're not cooking and preparing your own food, even what you cook and prepare is still not the highest quality that you can get in other countries.
right.
My brother and sister was like, "What is this? Oh, what are you?" They was like, "Why is this food so good?" I said, "Because it doesn't have no preservatives and dyes, and it rots. Food in other country rots. Food is supposed to rot.
It's supposed, and it's
So,
not supposed to always be perfect and pretty and whatever. It's like the
so
uglier, the uglier that it looks, it's more natural and organic. That's what it's supposed to
I
look
just
like.
tipped my contractor who did my deck with a bag of peaches, and he was just like, "This is the best tip I ever got." They were so good, so
No,
juicy, so
right.
now I call it the love orchard after my grandmother whose last name is Love. So I have a love orchard. But I think of food waste. I love cooking. And so when I go to other countries, I'm trying the things, I'm trying the spices. We had this Spanish chicken that was so good. I was like, y'all, I'm going back and duplicate it. I almost got it safe for one ingredient. I was like, because I could still taste it in my mouth. I was like, saffron, it's rosemary, they
Right.
grind it. And so when you go to other places, the food, there was a woman on the trip and she's like, I don't like any of this food. I was like, didn't you know the kind of food you were coming to Spain? It's tapas, this little place. And she wanted to eat like a cheeseburger. And we were like, girl, you in Spain? Like, try the local food. Now, I don't eat
Right.
pork because I can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether you're vegan, whatever, every country you go to, eat the local food. Eat
Right.
it. I
Right.
mean, don't eat anything that makes you sick. Or if you're vegan, I'm not saying go and eat meat. Every
I know.
country now
Right.
has good vegan food, has good vegetarian. Go eat the best of that food in that country they have to offer, even if you do it once and eat off the street the rest of the time. Eat the
Right.
food in the country. Drink the local drink. If you don't drink alcohol, they also have comparable beautiful beverages. Like over there, the orange juice is a machine squeezing oranges. That's all that's
Yes.
in the orange
It's just
juice. It's
orange
oranges.
juice.
I don't drink soda here. I can drink soda in other countries because the Fanta is basically orange juice with carbonated water. I can drink that.
Right. Right.
It's not
Right.
the neon orange shit they serve here.
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't drink
because
soda
even
here.
the same American brands that are in America, it's illegal for them to make it with
Yep,
all those 20 ingredients in other countries. So they
yep.
say have the same label, and people don't realize that. It's like if it only takes 3 ingredients to make it and keep it natural in another country, a Coca-Cola or a Fanta or whatever, like you say, it's not the same as what we have here, where it's just strictly chemicals.
I
It's
don't
just
eat
there's
fast
just a
food,
difference. I don't
but
either.
in Europe, I can eat at the I'm not gonna name the name.
Right,
I can
right,
eat there because the meat is just beef. The fries are fries. It's potatoes, oil, and salt. But here
right.
it's like 18 ingredients. So I don't eat it here. If I go to other countries and I get hungry, I can pull up because I know what the food is. My brother was like, smell this. It's the other B one. Smell this.
Right.
He was like, it smells like somebody's grill up in here. I was like, that's because it's real beef. He was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
So now,
because the one here, they're microwaving it. It's not
yep.
on a grill, even though they say it's on
Um,
a grill. It's not.
and I
Okay.
also tell people when you go to other countries, have an adventure. Do something you would not dare do anywhere else. Like me hiking a glacier. Sister girl don't like being cold. I was
Mhm.
frozen and happy as I could be. I felt like that's one of the places I've been closest to God. I went
Nice.
over-roading. So I'm in the top hanging out of a truck, going jostling, going up and
Oh,
down these steep
wow.
hills. I'm afraid of open heights. Hear me out. I went on a hot air
Ooh.
balloon in Morocco. Colombia, I went out on a speedboat to all the islands. I went to what's the name of that island? It's from one of the Disney's. I went to that island. So I always make sure I do one thing I'm afraid of
Nice.
and
Nice.
have
Nice.
one really, really good adventure and a story to tell.
I know it. I love it. You did. You can write a book about it. So let me ask you, in terms of just so people like, how in the hell can you afford all this? What is your protocol for creating a
Paying for
travel
trips.
plan, budgeting, all those things? Like how does that work in your life?
I have a line item in my budget because I'm a teacher. I'm frugal with my money that says Kottavei's well-being. I budget
Okay.
myself into my budget. I don't care who don't get their money. Kottavei's well-being is getting her money, right? That's the first thing. And a funny story behind that, one of my younger twins, I just flew him home, dropped him off to my brother, and I was going on to somewhere else. I'm dropping him off and I'm keep going. So we get through TSA. Now they done heard me talk because I be joking about my trips. And we got on the other side of TSA and he looked at me, he's like, there's no budget once we get through TSA, right? I was like, wait, what?
Right.
Because he heard me say it. I was like, what, sir? That applies to me. That didn't apply to you. But there is a budget. There's a number in mind. So what I do when I get my trips, I find my flight first. And the further out you book your flight, the cheaper it's going to be. So
Okay.
I plan my time. I'm a teacher, so I plan most of my travel around breaks, or if I'm doing a short weekend trip, I plan it at least a month and a half or so out. You get the best ticket prices. Buy your tickets on Tuesday. Plane tickets are cheaper on Tuesday. And if you search for a ticket, clear your cookies before you look again. Because if you
Yeah.
don't, every time you look, all it does is give you the higher price, higher price. So if you
Right.
look and you don't buy that time, clear your cookies before you search again so you get the real price. If you can, get a credit card for airline. Like I have a Delta credit card. I like flying with them. I get points. Like I just flew up real quick to my hometown for my niece's wedding. I paid $11.20. Cashed in
Nice.
some points. Delta, Maine, luxury, nice, $11. So you
Nice.
build up those points as you travel and cash them points in, use them bad boys.
Right.
Also, because I have a Delta credit card, not that I'm just touting them, other cars have them as well. Every year I get a companion pass. So if I pay for a Maine ticket with me, somebody flies with me free. Once a year, I get one of those for free. So it's
Nice.
worth it. Like I'm taking my baby sister somewhere with me. I don't know where, but we going somewhere, right?
Nice. Nice.
So things like that matter. So that's how I pay for some things. And then in terms, the ticket is typically the most expensive, and depending on how you like to stay, like I say, moderate range in hotels. I don't get the seedy hotel. I don't get the luxury hotel. I'm like mid-range. So in other countries, what we would consider luxury here, the price is there mid-range. It's much cheaper to sleep nicer in other countries for less money. I stayed in Colombia for the whole week, local neighborhood hotel, really nice. It was $87 for the whole week. Because instead of staying at a Hilton or one of those, like trying to get the luxury top shelf, I stayed in a local neighborhood with access to everything. Nice hotel, $87 for 7 days.
That's life.
That's like, and so I was like, ooh, so that was cheap. Let me get a whole bunch of excursions. And then I go book my excursions. Like I want to do this, I want to do this. And I kind of budget for what I want to do. And then the thing I spend most money on when I travel is food, because I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat. Here, I eat lunch. I have coffee in the morning. I eat a healthy lunch. I really don't eat dinner, maybe some fruit. And I cook, but I'll bring it for the next day. Baby, I want breakfast. I want coffee. I want lunch. I want dinner. I want snacks. I want a beverage. Yes, and yes. Give me everything. Because when I'm traveling, I'm going to eat all the food. I don't eat like that when I'm home.
Right.
I have a very kind of regimented, healthy, but a lot considering the quality of food in other countries. The place I spend most of my money is on food. And some of that I'll plan. I'm like, ooh, somebody said this place is good. Let me find it. Right. Or I'm in the travel groups on social media and somebody say, well, go here. You got to go here. You got to do this. And as much as I can, I will peep some of those places and try and go if I'm in the neighborhood. So eat well, drink plenty of water, hydrate. Take your refillable water bottles. Most countries have public refillable water that's really, really good. I am still stuck on water from Iceland. To the point I went and found Icelandic water here and I buy bottles of it. It tastes like you're licking a glacier. I can't even, it tastes like you're licking a glacier. I can't even lie. It's the best water I've had in my life. But that's how I do it. Flight first, accommodation second, excursions and things to do last. And then you decide based on how you eat, how much money you plan to spend on food.
That's a good. Okay.
I've done whole trips for like $500 flight, accommodations, food, everything for $500. I've done some for up to $3,000. It just depends on how you move. I'm going to be mid-range and I'm going to fly comfortable, sleep comfortable. I'm gonna eat real good.
Right. See, you're like
so
me
it can be done.
Because I'm not like an all-inclusive kind of chick. I've done those trips before. Because then you kind of tie to being in that place, doing that thing, especially if like I paid for it, so I'm gonna eat here. I paid for it, so I'm gonna do my activities here. Where it's like, no, I want to get out and about and get a private driver sometimes and let them take me someplace because they're local and I'm like, take me to where the locals eat and take me to, the local activities versus, being confined,
I know when I was in Italy, I've been there a few times, but just walking the street, somebody was like, Madonna, make the best of pasta. Italians really do talk with their hands. Make the best pasta. Come and eat in my Donna house. Where Donna live? Donna live right there. I can see Donna.
Let's
She
go.
outside on her little table, outside, rolling the pasta on her little table. And I know that pasta was seasoned with whatever was in the air, but that was the best pasta outside.
I
That's
love
like
it.
somebody's grandmama saying, pull up.
I love it. Yes, exactly. I mean, it is that. It's just a different culture. That's it.
And be careful, but don't be afraid to, go somewhere local. Like, this is a true story. I'm in my riad in Morocco, talking randomly to, and the little riads have a pool, talking to somebody in it, and he was like, "Where are you going next?" I was like, "Well, Portugal." He was like, "I live in Portugal." I said, "I have a friend there." He's like, "What's her name?" I told her. He said her last name. He's like, "Ooh, take a picture and send." I sent her a picture. She's like, "What the hell are you? Why are y'all together?" Met a friend of a friend
Love it.
randomly.
Love it.
And so him, and now that I knew he knew her, I felt safe. He was like, "Well, my girlfriend, we're gonna go to the African part." We went and ate African food my last night there, and I'm eating my okra soup and my food. And I wouldn't have found that if I had not connected with him
Love
there.
it. Love
Right.
it.
So don't be afraid, be safe, but don't be afraid to, venture off a little bit here and there, be safe. When I leave, my sister or brother, if they're not traveling with me, are my emergency contacts. But I have friends, I'll be like, "Well, I'm going here, or I'm with this person, da 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 da." I'm in public places, I feel safe. And you have that intuition thing, when you don't feel
Yes.
safe. Trust,
Yes.
trust that if you even a little bit don't feel safe, don't go,
Yeah.
or stay somewhere where you're at, like wide open public with a lot of people around, so you at least feel super safe. Like when I was in Morocco, the little area I was in, the people with the little shops, I walked there so much, and there wasn't a lot of people that looked like me, like shaved natural hair. I just looked a little different. And so every day they'd be like, "Oh, please come take tea." So I'm sitting in their shop right there, which is open. And I took tea with several of the shopkeepers there. One of them, he proposed to me, but that's a whole nother story. But he gifted my son's jewelry and me a Tuareg, which is
Oh,
a
nice.
cross. So made friends, still talk to these friends there on
Nice.
WhatsApp. WhatsApp is another thing, and I'm sure you
Yes,
use it.
that's
So
a good one. Yes. Yes.
I have T-Mobile, which is phenomenal. Any country I land in, they're like, "Hey girl, hey, you got free Wi-Fi and free texting. Yay, T-Mobile," right? But
Right.
if you want to make calls, it costs this much. So WhatsApp allows you to text, talk, video, call
Yeah.
for free.
Yes,
And
it
it's
does.
encrypted. It's encrypted, so nobody can break into your messages. So even in country, if I connect and I'm trying to find somewhere, I can pick up the phone and call
Right.
locally, like, "Where are you located and what's the best way to get there?" And it's free.
Yes. Yes. I love WhatsApp for that reason, for so many reasons. Yeah, exactly. So now, do you typically register with the embassy here, like United States Embassy or whatever, to say, "Hey, this is where I'm going to be"? So if there's an emergency, a national whatever, you don't go through that.
No, what I do is find out what the closest embassy is. That's the first thing. But also my passport. If you have a passport card, take your passport and the card. I lock my passport in the safe at the hotel and carry the passport card around with me. If you don't have both, lock your passport in the hotel in your lock. I take a color copy and a black and white
And
copy of my passport.
yes.
If you have a color copy of your passport and you lose yours or forget it and need to get another one, you can walk that into the embassy and they will give you another one. So
Right.
take copies of your passport, color and black and white,
And black and white. Right. Right.
and
Right.
take both. And they will find the embassy. If you lose your passport or get stolen, they will give you another passport on the spot. So things
Excellent.
like that are important. In terms of travel tips, the worst thing I've had to deal with maybe was pickpockets and stuff in countries. So make sure you get a cross the body bag in the front. If it locks, I have one for really countries that are bad for it, where you can't, it's military grade. You can't even cut the cords. If they try and
Hmm.
cut it, they can't cut the cords. It blocks out anybody stealing your information from your
Yeah.
cards. And it also goes across the body in front, and so I can carry it in a way that you can't get it unless you crawl up into my hoo-ha to get it. With
Well, let me
you
know what
have
that
to
is,
be
and I'm gonna put that in the description box, that particular one, and then we can give them some more tips later on those kind of things. But go ahead.
I'm gonna send you a bunch of stuff. And so I have that one, but when I'm kind of casual, oh, they pickpockets. I have a cross the body bag that has the basic pockets for things you need to get, like your lip gloss. You still have my lip gloss, you can have it. But then it has deep inner pockets for stuff like my credit cards. Like you got to go through layers to get it.
Mhm.
And don't carry all your cards with you. If you bring like 4 cards or 2 cards, carry 2 with you. Leave
True.
1 locked with your passport. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Some countries don't take American Express. You need to see what cards they take. Oh,
Mhm.
another tip is I don't take money with me. When I bring money back, I can have a vase. So I'm always going to use Europe. So if I bring euros back, when I travel next, I go dig out my little euros and take them. When I was in Iceland, they're so advanced. I didn't even touch a Kronos. That's their money. All I did
Mhm.
was tap, tap, tap. You don't even have to touch their money. I took a picture of it. But also, I get to the airport, and I'll take a little bit out of the ATM there with my card just until I figure out the exchange, and then I make one more big withdrawal. You don't have to take money, but if you have time, I wouldn't even take money out of the airport because the exchange rate is going to be more expensive. Also, when you do take money out, and it's like, do you want to convert it to you? Don't convert it. Get your money. Say no to conversion. Get it at the rate of whatever that country is, because their rate is going to be better. Their rate might be 3%, whereas America's like 7 or 8% on the exchange.
Right.
When it says, do you want to convert? Say no.
Yes.
No.
I mean, yes to saying no.
Yes to saying no. Do not convert when you get money from the machine. And don't be afraid to take money from the machine there. It's kind of like here, just like you pay a fee to get it, you pay a fee there. Just
Right.
don't take the conversion because their fee is less than our fee.
Mhm.
Um,
Right. Good
so
tip.
those are
Good
some kind
tip.
of good tips. And don't walk around with wads of money. Don't put all your shit in one place. Your cards, your money, because you're like, leave some stuff locked in the safe. Leave some money, leave a card, leave your passport. Lock those safes in the hotels are safe, right?
Right. Right.
Um, take what you need for that day and then re-up for the next day. Don't take more than what you need. Yeah. So those are some of the good tips. Oh, always take good walking shoes. Americans, we are lazy, like you said. Take good walking shoes. Tevas, Tevas is a great brand of walking sandals, gives you good support. I wear New Balance and Hoka sneakers. Great support on your back for walking. Take some kind of sandal or flip flop. Most showers and
Right.
stuff are clean, but if you don't feel
However,
comfortable, take those. People talk about hygiene in hotels. These hotels are going above and beyond to keep them clean. Like I've not stayed somewhere that was like seedy or disgusting, or I couldn't sleep there. I've had air conditioning. I've had whatever I needed in my hotels. They typically, I always get hotels that serve breakfast. That's one of my things. It's usually continental. I'm gonna eat my coffee first thing and maybe a little piece of
right.
fruit and some bread. So I try to book hotels. I don't care about lunch or dinner, but I always want breakfast pretty much at the hotel I'm staying in because I don't want to have to travel far to think about what am I doing this day.
Right.
Um, this is a cool thing. My friend, every country I go to, he funds my coffee because I love coffee. So I get one coffee, find out the cost, multiply it times 2 and times how many days I'm gonna be there. He reimburses for me for my coffee. You
Oh,
gotta have
I
them kind of
love it.
friends. When I
I
went to
love it.
Thailand last summer, this is a true story. When I left for Thailand for 2 weeks, I'm paid for. I had $100 in my pocket. That's it. I was like, well, we here now, but we on the plane. I came back with more money than I left with because friends were like, "Ooh, post some more pictures of you with the elephants," and they would send me money. Like, "Ooh,
See.
go eat this. Ooh, go try some of this. Ooh, go get another massage. Ooh,
Oh,
how was it?" They liked my adventures and felt there, so they started sending me money to. They didn't even know I left the country with $100. I came
nice.
back with more money than I left with.
I love you so much. I do.
I love you
I mean,
too.
because it's like I'm sitting over here like, yeah, you're the reason that this. You're the reason. You
But the
covered
universe will
everything.
rise up to meet you. You
Yes.
can't be fearful. You just got to start. And the universe is going to rise up to meet you where you are and trust that it will.
And that's why, again, the untethered life inner retreat is important so you can check your energy. Because
Yep.
if whatever you create your reality, we create our reality. So what you're
Yep.
thinking, feeling, and projecting, radiating, that's what is attracted to you and is coming back to you. So if you're not feeling so good, think about what you're putting out. You're just calling back to yourself what you're putting out. And you are the epitome of why You're the first guest, the second guest of this platform, right? Because you first 2 episodes of this platform, and the third time on Elevate the Good, period. Because this was always what my whole point of Elevate the Good is about. Think the good, do the good, be the good, live the good, so you can attract
Yes.
and attract all things good.
But we're
But
here because light reflects light. We're
exactly.
mirrors of one another.
And we've always been that. And it's so funny because we're super close, but we don't ever get a chance to actually spend physical time together.
Physical time together.
We
Wait, I
never.
might fly up there and see. Like, don't say less. I'll be on the plane to see you. So.
We
You know
don't have
I'm not
enough
playing.
time. Oh, trust me. But I'm saying that to say that the untethered life, being able to go in and like, who am I? What are my passions? Okay, what kind of energy? Let me check myself. Not judge yourself, not being mad, but just checking, because then you can adjust yourself accordingly and
Yep.
then start attracting those things in which you do and how you do want to be authentically wholesome,
And
wholeness.
I every day
And
check myself. Like people and my friends hold me accountable. Like, girl, like to the point it be hurting my feelings. Like, girl, I would call you back. And I have to get myself together. And I'm like, okay, now what were you saying? Because I need to be
right,
able to hear them. Sometimes we
right.
get so emotional, so stuck, we can't hear. I have to wait until I can actually receive it. Um, but holding people around you accountable for being around you. Like you can't be in my atmosphere with negativity. And when I catch myself, I hope my friends stop me. Like, it's not that you have to be toxically positive because we don't feel good every day. We're not our best
Right,
every day.
right,
But if it's
right.
ongoing, I need somebody to say, okay, girl, pull up. What kind of self work do you need to do to get out of this? I hear the way you're speaking about yourself. Like, for a long time as a creative and an artist, I felt like a charlatan. I had that imposter syndrome around being a creative
Right.
because even right now, I'm not really making art. But you know what? I said, be kind to yourself because this is maybe a period of respite so that when you do get back to making it, it's robust and full. I stepped back for a minute. I went a year without dating because I needed to step back for a minute. When you take that pause and that time to honor the rest space you need, then you come back more improved. I just told a friend this morning, and I said, I said, you're always in motion and moving. You don't need to overwork or permission to rest. I said, at worst, I want you to consider that we need to rest because our ancestors couldn't. You sitting around doing nothing at all. If you're not doing nothing but breathing and holding up the air you in, that's enough some days because our
Right.
ancestors literally could not. You don't have to earn rest
Absolutely.
ever.
Absolutely. And on that note, that's what I'm talking about.
This is so good. But I am
An
going to come visit
untethered,
you.
yeah, that's an untethered life for authentic wholeness. That's really what this is all about. That's what Elevate the Good, like I said, from the beginning in 2019 was all about. And it has taken so many twists and turns, but the foundation of it all is the same. I am a creator of sacred spaces so people can be authentically and organically self-expressive. So we can be a oneness and love and just like, non-judgmental, and whatever your creativity, whatever that is. So, it could be physically, etherically, emotionally. I just create these spaces. And now, even online, I realize that is my form of self expression. I've been beating myself up over these years,
Indeed.
like, I don't really put my poetry out there. I'm not really an artist. I'm like, what do I do? And I'm in production, but I've been taking a break from production because I just want to be me. I want to be the actress. I didn't want to be the model. I didn't want to necessarily always
Yeah.
be the person behind the scenes because that took the thrill away from life, because I know how everything is put together. And then I can't look at TV and stuff the same, like, I know how
No,
they
you
did
know,
that. You know what I mean? And
like
I
when
don't
you
want to,
got on with your yellow background, I was like, oh, I did my nails yellow
you
this
know,
week. I
so
didn't even know.
look,
I
look,
didn't even
look,
know. I was
look,
like, in honor of Elevate the Good.
look, you don't see all the safety pins and stuff back there? You know what I'm saying? But then I finally have come full circle to like, that's what you do. You're a creative sacred
Yeah.
spaces. And
And
it
we
was
need
with
those.
my
We need those.
godchildren, my friends, my families. Like, they would come to my house. They would leave their big old house, come to my cute little apartment in Decatur. And Next thing you know, I'm talking, they sleep. Just sleep. Or they just, and they were like, well, I really don't want anything. I just really want to just come and sit. And they just come and just sit and just feel like I could just be myself and I can breathe. And it would be that way even when I had my little, I don't know, I'm in love with this thing. With my jobs, one gig I had, this one young lady, and she's still on my platform. We're personal friends now. She was just
Mhm.
like, this is not just the one time, but I'm talking about her specifically. Can I just stand right here next to your desk? Am I
Yeah.
bothering you? Like, no. She was like, this is the only peaceful place in this whole
See?
building. We had 3 floors. And people would say that to me all the time. And I didn't underestimate it, but now the divinity in me is allowing me to see it
Right.
and embrace it. Like, it doesn't have to be this physical thing you're doing. Your aura
Right.
is your self-expression.
And you have the capacity for it. I know there are times I didn't have the capacity for some of what people were wanting from me, but I have it now. I have the capacity. And I have a perfect next guest for you on Elevate the Good. I'm gonna send you her information. She talks about like women over 50 and menopause, and she's so free and untethered with it, girl.
Yes,
She's so good.
yes,
Her name is Omasade. I'm gonna send you her information because the
nice.
way we're talking, she talks about our bodies, particularly Black women's bodies, and the shifts and the changes. She would be perfect for this. You would love her.
Excellent, excellent. So what are your next plans, itinerary? What you got going on?
So over the next year, and this is loose.
Okay, okay.
Panama, Costa Rica, Japan, Vietnam, Kenya, Zanzibar. There's somewhere else, and then some domestic stuff.
Nice.
So I don't have no order for anything, but this is like boom, 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 boom. I have my own checklist. So this is how it's going to happen. Like I said, I'm taking my sons out the country in October. My 5 sons and my bonus son have a Sunday
Nice.
birthday because they're worthy of that. They're just like I'm worthy of it. They're worthy of being out in the world. And hopefully this gives them something. I don't mind even as much as can helping fund them to keep going, like doing their international travel. My youngest twins are going to junior year. So I'm hoping to get them on one of their school trips out of the country away from me. First go with me, and then I want them to go away from me so they can navigate and move. But
Right,
understanding that I'm not raising local citizens, I'm raising global ones. Even in thought. Their thought is there, but now I need their physical bodies to be there as well.
right.
We need to impart that more on our kids because this next generation is moving differently and we want them to. But literally right now, I'm putting feet in places my dad had feet. He's been to
Nice.
Switzerland. He's been to France. He's been to all these places. So now when I go, he's like, I had feet there. I had feet there. And I love that I'm able to be everywhere he has been out in the world.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
and he'll be 84 on Monday. So
Yes, I love it. I love it. It's so funny. So I just want to let people know she is a mom of 5 young kings, 2 sets of twins. 2 on the
yes.
top, 1 in the middle, and the 2 at the bottom. And I met her when they were just the little things, and now they're grown adult, beautiful men. And she has really created some beautiful souls on this planet. And I thank you for that. You have done an excellent job, especially as a single mother. I'm like, I used to pray for you all the time. Like, you did that
Ooh, and
thing,
I
girl.
need that.
You did that thing.
I
No,
take
you
all
did.
meditation and prayer.
Look, look,
Raising
I got
5
you. Look, I
young
got you. I
Black
got you. I
boys.
got you. I got you. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do it right. Let me do it
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah,
I
that's that
received that.
old money potty home. Yeah, that's that self-love,
Ooh.
self-compassion, corona compassion for yourself. And I thank you for your essence. I thank you for your love, your divinity. I love you. Like I said,
I
you're
love you
proactive.
too.
Yeah, you're proactive in your inspired action. You move and you do and you live and you be freely untethered life. And I thank you once again for joining this platform.
Thank
So let
you.
people know where they can find you. You are an artist, so that's a whole nother conversation, which we had when Elevate the Good first started. But
Right,
tell me
right.
your platforms where they can find your artwork and go.
Well, I intentionally took down my website for a year because I'm rebuilding. But when it is back up, it's just www.kottavei.com. And my Instagram is at Kottavei, Kottavei. And I'm on Facebook, is V Kottavei Love. I'm not on all the other platforms. I had to like cut my
Right.
social media short so I don't spend too much time there. But my Instagram, oh, I have a food Instagram too, and it's called The Adventurous List. So it's THE_ADVENTUROUS adventurist_list. If you want to see
Excellent.
some of my food. That's
Excellent.
me.
Excellent.
Thank you
Well,
for
thank
having
you,
me.
thank
And I
you,
love
thank
you. And we'll
you.
talk soon.
Love you. Keep elevating the good,
Love you.
sweetie. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Peace.